representing us, representing other interests, and oftentimes they don't want to speak to us, they want to get off and do other things. But that's an example of it. All right, I got that off my chest now, and I would like John Spitzberg. John, would you perhaps give us a rundown on
yes,
Jack,
just a quick point. I don't know who's all on the call. Do we know who's all here? I was late coming in, maybe.
Okay, I'll quickly tell you. We got Dave Didmore. We've got John Spitzberg. We've got Jack Doxey. We have Michael Clift. We have Paul Cox. We have Bill Cook. We have Maurice Martin. And we have John Milhouse.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just press.
I'm sorry, Jack.
Go ahead. You're okay. John, you're on.
Okay, thank you. I'm at the Lipinski Auditorium right now to see a movie concerning what has happened to minority folks who get arrested in the system and get lost in the legal and then the court and then the detention system. And Jack has asked me to speak for a few moments, or allowed me to, and then I'm going to go to this movie. Okay, first of all, let me tell you folks that we are having the convention for Veterans for Peace here in Asheville, North Carolina, on the 23rd through the 27th of July, and we will have a number of workshops. If anyone on this call is interested in doing a workshop specifically to homelessness and homelessness of veterans, there will be an application form which will be on the DFP website. It's not up yet, but it will be. I also understand that some of you are planning to be with us, and we are delighted. It'll be a great convention. We're working very hard to get it together. Let me stop now and ask: are there any questions about the convention and that period of time between the 23rd and 27th of July? Only that I would like to participate in that program on homelessness. Right now experiencing staying in a transitional housing program here in Berkeley, California. And
Maurice, announce who you are. People don't know who you are and what city you're from first, okay?
Okay. My name is Maurice Martin, and I'm a member of Veterans for Peace. I was former vice president of our San Diego Hugh Johnson chapter, but I'm now moved as a full-time student here to Berkeley, California. Excellent. Well, congratulations, Maurice, and of course we're delighted that you want to be with us. I would like Jack, I understand that you might join us too. I would like to see another workshop of a continuation of the best practices. By the time July rolls around, we should probably have 5 more best practices, which would throw it to a 50. And I think that the workshop that Paul, you and I did, I think that was useful. I've had people call me, or not call me, but email me for that booklet that we handed out, and I've sent it to at least 4 or 5 people. And that's great. It's great. Yeah, it's really good. Now, in terms, can I? John, one quick thought. You asked if anybody was interested. John Milhouse, who just came on, is a new member. John, you want to say a few words about what you could like to participate in?
Well, I was a former homeless person myself once upon a time. I have a rather unique situation that happened to me along life's road, and I'm also an artist and a writer, and so I would like to be able to have the opportunity. As a matter of fact, as far as I'm concerned, it would be an honor and a privilege to be able to serve in whatever capacity that would be deemed appropriate for what I know and what I've been through in my particular talents.
I've heard about you, and I'm hoping that you will. I understand you write poetry. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if you'd be willing to read aloud some of your poetry on Wednesday night, the 23rd of July. We will have a poetry reading here at the university. This is where the entire convention will be held. And we will have a poetry reading, and we would love it if you would be willing to bring some of your poetry. And also, I understand that you have some artwork, paintings, etc. And we will have a table, we will have an area for paintings and whatever art the veterans produce. So I would appreciate it if you would be willing to bring that with you. And I think that San Diego, Jack and Mike corrected you, and the rest of the chapter are working on getting Mr. Millhouse to us.
Yes, we certainly are.
Okay.
At a national level as well.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yes, national and local. Between the two of us, we're going to, by golly, get John on a plane and to Asheville.
Okay. I'm going to go into this showing, this movie now. It's all part of the Martin Luther King weekend here, and tomorrow we have a breakfast which I will be attending. I'm going to have to sign off right now, and so I wish everybody well, and keep up the great work that you're doing individually wherever you are. I know that Mr. Ditmore, you and I are going to talk further about wanting your project, and maybe you're presenting something at the convention. Am I correct about that?
Yeah.
Okay. And Paul, how are you? It's good to hear your voice again. Are you going to come to Asheville?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Okay, great. Well, anyway, I'm going to go now into this movie, so I'm going to sign off, Jack. Thank you for putting this all together for all of us.
All right. Yeah, and John, thank you for all the work you're doing for the convention.
Okay. Take care
now. Okay.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.
All right.
Hey, Paul.
Next, Dave
John Spitzberg
has left the conference.
That's not like you left the building.
Hey, Paul.
Dave Ditmore, I'd like you to, if you would, you told me this amazing story about these little colleges that have been built for veterans, I guess homeless veterans. Could you give us a little insight into that?
Yes, Jack, I'd be glad to. In fact, I'm sitting on a street just outside the project. Is called Quixote Village, named after Don Quixote in the, I forget what the story is. But there's 30 small cabins on both sides of a large central building. They're just finishing this project. In fact, I think they were installing telephones and intercoms, the cabins today. They've not had the grand opening yet. I'm going to try to come back for that. The main building, it looks like about 2,000 square feet probably. Conference room, offices towards the front, a large modern kitchen, 6 different showers, washing machines, dryers, some locker space for the residents. I'm assuming maybe keep their soap for the laundry, maybe keep some of their food locked up, and mail drops or mailboxes, and a large open area, tables for dining, but also a social area around a wood stove. I was talking to some of the directors or people in charge, and they're saying they're assuming there'll be like some AA groups and that sort of thing function. That's a nice thing of a project like this. There can be some group interactions. But counter to, I think, our expectations, there are not a lot of veterans here. I think they said they have about 4 or 5 veterans out of the 30 residents, but it's part of a project with other homeless shelters in town, and they say typically veterans with a honorable discharge can qualify for other government programs and probably live in subsidized housing in apartment complexes in town. So these may be some guys with general discharges or something like that. So it's not all veterans housing, but it's certainly a pattern for what can be done. The cost per each cabin, and I've not measured them, I'm guesstimating they're
it's good information
maybe
to have.
6 or 7 feet wide and about 16 feet deep. They're saying they're spending about $1,200 for each one of those. But to have a regular traditional asphalt shingle roof and gutters, so being the chief engineer I am, I think the cost could probably be brought down some. But it's a first-class project, and I took some pictures of the interior, and I think what I'll do is I'll send them to Jack with some of the links of the project developers and others, and some of the description I have of what I encountered today, that Jack can disseminate it to the group. And I would like to take just a second for the new members. I'm also the chair of the PTSD working group, and after assuming that about 3.5 years ago, I also coupled on to traumatic brain injury and suicide, and would have taken homelessness too, but Jack beat me to it. But my point is that I think we all agree that all of these problems are related, and I appreciate Jack's approach coming from industry of having direct solutions for the homeless project.
This is the guy who just left.
But I'd like to come to the point of view that all these things are interrelated. And I said to Jack earlier, and I don't know if he's given it to all of you yet or not, a concept that I have, because we talked about agriculture in a past call, of maybe a comprehensive treatment program, housing program, job training program for veterans. And I did say something to John about this convention, that I'd like for us to have a track of all these subjects sequentially so they don't ever overlap. In this last convention, we had a seminar on suicide at the same time as the one on homelessness. And I think that was a terrible mistake, because I think these are all the related areas I think most of us want to attend.
No, but
not that there's other areas, of course, we do, but I'm going to try to work with John to try to prevent that happening next time. And if I have time, and it is overlap with someone, I'd be glad to participate in the homeless workshop at the next convention. And I'll kind of sign off here. And as I said, I parked here in front of the complex, and if anyone has any questions or things they want to investigate, I decided to stay here, and I can go in and check around some more. But thank you all for your time.
Okay, Dave, this is Jack Doxey, and Dave, thank you for the rundown on that. I'm amazed that a city has put that together. And tell us once again, these small cabins, what city is this happening in?
This is Olympia, Washington, which is the state capital. And in fact, I overheard an interview from a stringer from the New York Times, so you may see a little more publicity. But apparently, a large part of this was state funding from the state of Washington. So that's always the trick, is funding for something like this.
Okay. Dave, before you leave, I got one other thought here. This sounds like a lot of planning in this, that this is an activity or process that might be a candidate for a best practice. I know it's a big undertaking, but let's say some city throughout the United States, one of our people said, I love the concept, maybe we can get this going, in our particular city, and just steal shamelessly the information out of Olympia, Washington, and see if they could promote that with maybe their Congress people, what have you. Could you give me enough information on that I could cobble together a best practice?
Yeah, Jack, I agree with you completely, and I think we sent some emails back and forth previously, but I think probably a link to the project developer, something like that, and is probably a good place to start. As I think I communicated before, I'm not sure if you want to start posting blueprints and minutia, I would call it.
No. If you could just give me a contact, that would be fine. I'll take it from there.
Yeah, because it's definitely not a profit-making enterprise. They're not into competition. And the lady I talked to is certainly glad to share information. So, yeah, I will definitely put you in contact with them, Jack. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Anybody else?
So I think this is Maurice. So I think that I forgot his name just that fast. I'm sorry. The speaker was just on. What was his name?
Dave Ditmore.
Dave. Ed? No, Dave.
Uh-huh.
Dave. I think that you're correct in that. Because I'm back into myself into homeless programs because of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's been a 30-year struggle. But I also have some experience in the criminal justice system, in both in San Diego and New Mexico. Well, not by criminal justice, but I have some criminal justice issues that I took care of several years ago, many years ago now. But through that, but as I see it working around some of the other cities, the criminalization of homelessness, and in particular homeless veterans going into the criminal justice system, I think those are integrally connected there, both in the criminal justice system, post-traumatic stress disorder, homelessness, and I think that we can also have a
protocol on the phone
about veterans. So I think that they have the missing link in our access to service programs too. So maybe it's something we can cobble together, then tie those knots together. I don't know if we can do it in one session, but definitely those 3 things, 4 things there need to be looked at closely as we look at coming up on the 2014 convention.
Yeah, this is Dave again. Yeah, it's a sad story, but I heard of a man, not necessarily a veteran, but robbed a liquor store and just sat on the hood of his car and waited for the police to arrive. So they threw him in jail for another 6 months because it was getting to be winter and he was going to freeze his tush off.
That's true story.
Yeah, I've been working for a couple of years now with the San Diego DA's office and on their former the inmate reentry program. And as we're seeing the growing population of those who are coming out of prison and out of jails are veterans, access to housing or connection to services and programs. Some of it has to do with discharges, others because they just disconnected, disenfranchised. So I think that that's a very important issue that we can probably address in our whole homeless sort of issue. But that would take a much longer discussion, but I was just wondering. And we have to, and I think, I know I repeat myself, but this is key. One of our fastest growing homeless population growth are homeless veteran women, and many of them with children. So they definitely have to be a part of this whole thing, and part of this discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. Unless somebody else has some comments for Dave, I'd like to move on to Michael Clift. And Michael, once again, if you can just give us a quick thumbnail for those who didn't hear you initially. And Michael is putting on a special event called Vet Fest in San Diego. Michael, you're on.
All right. First, I want to say hello, Maurice, and hi, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello.
Guys.
Looking forward to meeting you after.
We met down here last year, but to cut to the chase, my project is basically a Paul Revere attempt to facilitate all these best practices that we're talking about, and to sort of take these ideas across the country. Indeed, we're marching to the national convention, so I plan to present some ideas there. The Vet Fest is going on in San Diego. It's an attempt to build community solidarity, and I'm waiting for some noise. Sorry, guys, you can hear me all right. We're marching across America. It's kind of like what I talked about before. Paul kind of knows me from San Francisco, so he knows what I'm about. And Maurice, we met last year at the VFP 91 meeting, if you recall. So Basically, I've been optimizing the project, tying together resources whenever possible, and documenting the entire thing. I believe that politicizing, organizing, and mobilizing homeless veterans to do all these things is the biggest challenge, because we need to interfere with the dysfunction that comes along with our post-deployment stress. So James and I are attempting to do it arm's reach, in reach, and we've been building a pretty solid little media profile. I'm profoundly honored to be added to the ranks of the VFP, and I hope to see you guys over there in Asheville.
Okay, and can you tell us a little bit what you're planning for the Vet Fest on Monday, Martin Luther King Day?
Well, what I'm hoping to do is have veteran service organizations and small businesses that consider themselves vet-friendly congregate in a festival-like stand-down. Basically, we take your standard stand-down and we trim it a little bit. We get rid of the depression angle, and we more or less try to rally veterans of different skills and talents together to form community unity, really. Put the unity in community and use the veterans, not use them, but we need to repurpose ourselves, and that's why I want to put the Vet Fest on, is to give myself a platform for ideas as well as others.
Okay, well, thank you.
And we'll have music, art. We're going to have some raffles. There'll be a free Zumba class. You know, it's going to have food. And most of all, it's going to have passion behind it. Because anyone who's going to take the effort to participate in Vet Fest is proving their passion through direct action.
Very good. And for one, I will be there. John Millhouse will be there. So on and so on. So we wish you the best on Monday with your Vet Fest. I'd like to call upon Maurice Martin now. Excuse me, if anybody else has any questions for Michael Clift, can you share it right now? If not, we'll move on to Maurice Martin. Michael,
Yes, I do, Paul. Can I email it to you? I don't have my phone handy. Yeah, Maurice, you're in great company up there. It's a bummer that we just kind of crossed paths, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was just thinking earlier when I made that first initial contact by email when I heard that you was coming, I was thinking about Rooftop, which is run by a Marine out there, and also there's a Reboot, which is working from civilian culture back to from military culture to civilian culture to good progress. I would like to have them be a part of that program. But we'll do this again and something like this again, but we'll make sure we get that information out there to you. So
absolutely.
Take advantage of the programs.
Absolutely, buddy.
Absolutely. All right. Jack, I'm so sorry. Jack, what did you want me to do?
Okay, yeah, just a moment before I put you on, Maurice. I would like you to share with us a concept. It's not in a position here where it's tested and stood the time and is working and operating as a best practice. But
No, it's not a best
It's a
practice.
concept. It's just
Yeah,
starting.
it's definitely
You'll
not a
develop it
best
on your
practice.
prospect.
Yeah.
That. And
Tell Maurice I
as a
said
matter of
hello.
fact, John Millhouse has experienced that himself. It could probably tie into the concept. But before I put you on, it'll be in just 1 second here.
Huh?
It should have said I'm at Jan's
Don't have
place.
anybody else on the
Seems like it
agenda,
has kind of a
per se.
noise gate
But
on
what
it.
I would like to do is when you finish, Maurice, have enough time that we can entertain and have some general dialogue, but especially hear from
get out of
people
here.
like Paul Cox, Bill
I can
Cook, so on and
leave
so on,
whenever, I guess.
who have not spoken.
Enjoy, you got another beer.
Okay?
Hmm.
All right, Maurice, why don't you share with us this concept or idea that you have?
Well, that, as you discovered with my mission, is not a proven best practice as a homeless program, but it definitely has success.
This is not
in
my
the
beer.
University and college community where
James's
they
son.
are matching housing opportunities with
I keep
students,
grabbing it
you
like
know,
it's
and
mine.
wonderful
I'll
holiday
take 2 drinks
weekend.
out of it.
You,
Thanks,
dude,
James.
you know what?
One of our directors at
George
the
C.
program here.
Scott, only more handsome and cooler.
Who?
You.
Oh, right. Yeah, right.
So
this.
let me
remove temptation
and on the internet, you may have been seeing some of the dating sites and dating services that are just all over the place. Well, what I was thinking is with John Millhouse, who has been matched with a Navy or Marine veteran, I can't remember Tom. Probably knows. But I've been working with the Interfaith Worker Justice from Chicago to DC and in New Mexico, and in particular the disability community, where we were matching people with disabilities with seniors, or at least homeless people with people with disabilities, and doing a screening process and that sort of thing. But we did that sort of through a website, and they have success through it also with our universities and stuff. We're matching students with other students, both in dormitories and also within the community at large or in the neighborhoods. So what I was thinking, and have been talking to the VA, and they thought it was a good idea, and I'm not sure how we might be able to implement it, is do sort of a house matching. We have, from my experience out on the street, and many of you guys can work with our homeless community, many of our veterans, both women and men, have some income. Not all, but many of them do. And we have a significant number of our veteran population who are out, who own homes or have large apartments and have available room and or space to rent. And some of them may need, with the economy being where it is, need help with paying their mortgage or paying rent or having 2 or 3 bedrooms, whatever that may be. I was thinking that we could try to maybe set up a website, however that was, and say, hey, if you have a room or you're a veteran and you have a room that you would like to rent or in your house and or apartment, and match them with other veterans who are in need of housing, who have incomes. They can meet each other online, just like the dating service, fill each other out, so to do a screening process. You know, there could be an application to do background checks, you know, that sort of thing, and see if we can be able to move, because we know we have a wealth of services and programs in our housing programs. We've taken tremendous strides in trying to address homelessness, but what we lack is we need more opportunities and need to come at it. It has to have a multiple approach to it. So I think that a website would be really wonderful into matching those in need of housing with income, pensions, Social Security, and or other or jobs or work. With other veterans, female veterans, a veteran with disability who has income that has a house, or other veterans who are seniors who would not mind renting their house. I think that they would like to try to help other veterans as well, and they can put, you know, basic information on it. Hey, I have a room available, contact us, and then let them contact us. I think that would be a great way to begin to connect veterans with income with those who have rooms and or availability to bring a veteran into their home, either home ownership or to rental. So that's something I think that I wanted to try to get you guys feedback, and also see if you think that might be viable. We could use universities to help do it, computer systems. There's a variety of ways to look at it, but I think that would be an excellent connection and another pathway to relieve some of the homelessness out here, homeless on the street.
Thank you, Maurice. Please, any comments for Maurice or suggestions?
Nope.
Okay,
Steve, it sounds like a win-win to me.
Yeah, great work.
Yeah.
There's a,
At first I thought that was a woman on the phone.
No.
It was just a buzzing sound.
I'm at Jan Ruman's house.
hey, Maurice,
Oh, okay.
Maurice,
Okay.
let me say something real quick. Let me say something
Yes,
real
go
quick,
ahead.
guys. There's an organization that's set up called Jobs for Vets that has a website with a similar concept. And they use the media to promote themselves, and then they reached out to corporations. I don't know exactly where you would reach out, but the media would probably be a great one for this would be homes for vets or rooms for vets but something like that. Great idea. Great idea.
Yeah, there's matching vets with other vets.
Yeah.
There you go.
Housing.
Yeah.
We need a good tagline and all that sort of thing. And, to set up a website is a little bit more complicated. But we have our universities and we have one with Patrick Gorky. There's several Patrick Gorkies who are veterans and, guys maybe from the Iraqi-Afghan war who are good at computer. Or our local colleges and our universities could take it on as a project, develop a web connection and know how to do all the particulars. But I'll do some more research on it and pass that on as we go along. But I just want to kind of get you guys feedback. And Dan, I think you're right. We have it with jobs. Yeah.
This is Jack Doxey speaking. It sounds like a wonderful concept. Here again, I use and throw around saying, steal shamelessly from others. They're all these professional
Can I get them?
romantic
In the
reasons.
refrigerator.
And they probably went through a tremendous